Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tea with Krema. My name is Chris. I'll be your host today, and I'm joined by my best friend, Emma.
Hello, and happy birthday!
Woohoo! Oh my gosh, birthday? Whose birthday is it?
It's the Tea with Krema's birthday! Or as I like to say, birth yay.
Yay! Oh my gosh, Krema Smatini is 1 year old now. How exciting! Ooh. Well, before we begin our year of reflections and thought, just kidding, it's just one episode of looking back at our first year anniversary. Abba, what are you drinking today?
It definitely sounded like you just said ABBA. What are you drinking today?
Abba, come in, play your song. That's the Mamma Mia
Mia
people. Okay.
Here I go again. My. Today I am drinking a green tea. I'm not exactly sure who it's made by because the entire packaging is in Japanese. But I do know it's green tea because of the packaging. And thank God for pictures because it's rough out here for a girl who don't speak Japanese, y'all. I'm out here just trying my best.
But gotta pick on the colors and labels and pictures.
It's been solid so far. It has not led me astray. So I've been good. But Christopher, break it down for us. What are you drinking today?
How sad that on our 1 year anniversary.
Is this an omen?
Like, look at this. I'm drinking the first tea that I truly do not like. Like, I'm not gonna finish this tea. It's disgusting. I don't like it personally. You know, maybe someone else does. But let me tell you about this. Caffeine-free, gluten-free, vegan, great source of antioxidant, iron, magnesium, and zinc tea ethically sourced from Ecuador.
Wow.
Let me tell you about this tea because you could put, see, that's how you know, you could put all these little labels and fancy things on a tea. It could be local, distributed by a Fort Worth company and everything, and it still end up just being not good. And I should have known because when I tell you it delivered exactly what it said it was going to deliver. This is a cacao tea. So like basically a chocolate tea. And I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but it basically just tastes like a really, really, really diluted packet of hot chocolate. Like, you got your family of 12. You only had one packet, but you all had a little bit. That's what this tastes like.
You all got a full mug of hot water, but you only have one packet to share.
Instead of just, making one good mug of hot chocolate, everyone got a little bit of powder. Same amount of water, though. Nope. This tea was not it. It was not the move. I feel so terrible for whoever made this tea. It's not for me. So, mi cacao, it just, Maybe for someone else. Maybe they have other kinds. Maybe there's something that I didn't do right. But, no.
That's not the move. Well, I'm hoping that this terrible tea is just a low and, it's not a bad omen for our 1 year anniversary. So, we have made it to a year. Go us. And this is actually releasing on our 1 year episode. So, that's pretty big in itself, but we are just going to kind of, do all the things, sing all the happy birthdays. How many songs can you come up that have to do with a birthday?
Oh, isn't there one by Katy Perry? I think there's one by Katy Perry.
There might be. I was just thinking of like the 50 Cent one.
Oh, yeah.
Go shawty, it's your birthday. There's also the Drake one. It's your happy birthday. It's called Ratchet Happy Birthday.
I also thought of the Jeremiah one. We're not going to say what the name is.
It's your birthday, so you know you wanna ride. You say your passion.
Okay, maybe not that kind of passion. I don't know what you be doing. Oh my god. Let me see. I really think Katy Perry made one too.
There's also this other one that I really like, but I also can't sing it on the air. It's called Birthday Bee. And then there's also, then we got the good old Stevie Wonder one. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. And then, we got the other one, like the classic Happy Birthday, but we really can't sing that one because that one's expensive to air.
Is it really?
Yeah, I think it's like $12,000 every time you sing it on anything. So that's why anytime you see movies and shows that have happy birthday in it, you know they got money. But a lot of times they'll sing
like the one that you sing at like a birthday party,
like
with your friends.
Da 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 da, and I'm only gonna sing that much because
it's $12,000.
I think it's actually.
Who do you pay?
The person who owns the patent to it.
I thought this was like a Creative Commons at this point.
Nope, it's not. Somebody went and they went and colonized that song.
Oh my god. Maybe, that's crazy. I didn't even know. You know, the more you know, it'd be like that.
The more you know.
Okay, well, to begin our true episode, we want to start, of course, with the highs of the year. So, what are some celebrations that you can think of, Emma, after doing the tea with Krema for one whole year?
How are we going to celebrate? I hope we get drunk. Just kidding.
I just looked at the song. It's definitely public domain.
But then why does it say it was copyrighted?
Because it was, and then started collecting licensing fees. But then it was declared the copyright was declared invalid, and then they had to pay back all of those fees.
The $14 million. Well, in that case, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Mr. President. Tea with Krema. Happy birthday to you.
Yes, so in case you were wondering, it's one of the most widely recognized songs in the English language. But yes, so I think I will be celebrating the birth of Tea with Krema by signing up for therapy, maybe.
Ooh, you know, it's a year. I think that's a great way to celebrate. I agree. I have definitely started looking into that therapy thing that my friend had sent me. There's like a therapy group that gives therapy specifically to expats. And so maybe I will also do that. So like update from the beginning until now. Thinking back to that first episode in December, what were you doing and how has your life changed since then?
Well, at that point, I was still teaching and was navigating a year where some of my kids just never came to class because it was a virtual part-time year kind of thing. And, you know, navigating all of whatever that meant. And yeah, just being on the computer all the time until like needing to do something else other than like work. Work. Oh, do we have to pay for that song too?
You know, Rihanna might actually make us pay for that song. She'd be collecting, doing all the things. So
awkward. Guess we'll find out if the Tea with Krema goes bankrupt. That's why. That is the reason.
Literally why. It's because of Rihanna. We still stand, but you know, thinking back to that last episode, Rihanna was on there, and so was Chris Brown. So they were definitely very
on your list
in high school.
Oh my gosh! So yeah, I think. So I think since then I have switched jobs and moved and I will say, I think because of the work that we've done with the podcast, I've been a bit more intentional about the things that I do in my life. And so, you know, having set those really clear goals for what I was going to have accomplished in 2021, I think in the grand scheme of things, I've done really well. The biggest thing that I think I dropped the ball at was working out. But even that, like if you think about like in the grand scheme of the year, I was working out basically from like January to May, June-ish at CrossFit. And then I haven't really done much since, but like that's not nothing really. And then, so, you know, fitness, technical check right there. I've been more social and gone out with people and tried and explored a lot of new things. So half check right there. They're all teachers. So I'll give myself that half check. But I think just being able to like sit down and create that visual and be more intentional about things was just really helpful and nice. So I think in that regard, the podcast really helped me.
Yeah. You know, in the beginning of the year, and we definitely had set those goals. Was that the episode that I said I was going to be applying for law school? Or when did that happen?
I don't think so. You didn't really, you like talked about law school one time-ish, kind of. Yeah. But also with this, like, I don't want to speak it into fruition. And then everyone's like asking me about law school.
Yeah.
And then I change my mind about it.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I think maybe I kind of knew that maybe it wasn't going to be in the plan essentially right away. I think I had hoped for it, but from that year, I think the podcast definitely opened up some doors in terms of like, I got to be connected to other people. And so one of my good friends at Reads with Rosa, she's the host of her own podcast, had like reached out to me and was like, hey, like I saw you have a podcast and you're Polly, like I'm Samoan, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, and you're a teacher, like, can you come on my podcast? And so interviewed me on her podcast, and then at the end was like, oh my gosh, like you're a science teacher. I think it'd be so cool if you could like come out to Japan and teach. And I was like, oh my God, my school might be closing, and ended up applying on a whim, ended up getting the job. So I think that the Tea with Krema has definitely opened up some doors in that way. I live in a completely new country now. I have gotten engaged. Isaac and I did an episode in the beginning of the year. Wait, did I say we got engaged at the beginning of the year? No,
we did an episode about y'all's relationship at the beginning of the year.
Yes. And then we got engaged right before I left. So there's definitely been some things, it's also been a way for, I think, family and friends to reconnect with us and everything. But our first episode was based on therapy, because being in the States and now being in Japan and seeing the healthcare differences, it is wild. Now, mental health care is not I don't think it's as advanced as it is in the States and Japan. It is very much still a culture of like, you're fine, you're being dramatic type of things. So there's definitely that. That first episode was called Therapy is Expensive, so we started a podcast instead. Did this help, do you think, as therapy? Do you feel like this was another outlet for you, or do you feel like it was an outlet of stress?
I think in this first year, there was a lot of stress from the podcast, and partly because, you just don't know how to do certain things. And so trying to figure out like how to edit in a timely fashion, and figuring out our social media game and who's running which accounts and how are we sharing and what are we sharing and how are we even, what is the purpose of these episodes? Who are they for? What is our schedules like? And then throwing on top of that now the time differences and trying to figure out all those things. I think ultimately it ended up being a point of stress for me, so much to the point where like even before the year was up, like part of why we took that hiatus was because like I was just not in a space where I was like able to sit and do more episodes and do the work behind the scenes to make it happen. And so in that regard, I think it was really stressful. But then I just had a moment not too long ago where I was just, we just had to go back and forth of like, are we doing it? Are we doing it? Are we doing it? Are we doing it? And I mean, it's mostly you. I was very just like, I'm still thinking about it, being very flippant and nonchalant about it. And it just came to, you know what? If we're going to do it, if we're going to say it's therapeutic, I think let's commit to that part, and let's not make it so stressful, and let's let it be fun. And not so much because it's something that like we as a collective necessarily need to do, but I think it's because I need to learn how to not be so stressed about everything all the time. The podcast doesn't have to be perfect all the time. We don't actually have to look at the analytics of the podcast to see how many people are we reaching. Is that more than the last episode? What kind of feedback and comments are we getting? And I don't have to like use that as something and like turn it into, oh, we have to do better the next month. Like it's fun and it's cute, but learning how to kind of leave it at that so that I can be I guess not stressed in other parts of my life, but I can focus more on handling the stress from other parts of my life. So I did learn that lesson, and I think it's helping me in the later half of this year.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I think that you and I both have very perfectionist personalities, and we both had like different expectations, and I was also really stressed because I had never used, Audacity, and then I wasn't meeting deadlines, and, in my head I was like, okay, like this is fine, but then, there was also that point of contention of like, why aren't you getting things done on time, and so like I definitely knew my weak points going into it, and then it was becoming like as the year was going on, it was almost like, okay, yeah, don't forget we have to like record. Like it was becoming this point of like, it was no longer fun. You know, it was no longer a reason. Like we started this because we wanted to have fun. We thought we were really funny. I still think we're very funny. And we were like, oh my God, podcast idea, you know, and it was becoming that thing that I feel like we had kind of lost of, you know, we kind of got lost of what was our original intention of this. Like, was the intention for it to be fun and perfect, or like, you know, to be fun, or was it to be perfect? And I think that's kind of where, once we came to that understanding and like was able to, you know, fully, you know, come back and realize like, okay, this is what we want to do. I was also just being annoying because I knew that our payment was about to go up. So I was like, I need to make sure I have money in my US account so that it gets pooled. So I need to know if we're doing this. It wasn't like I was like, if you don't do this, I'm going to go on my own. No, it was like, we need to know because we got some fees coming up. And if they get pooled, then I'm going to be, you know, I got to make sure I'm not in a negative balance.
Podcasting's not free.
Because podcasting is not free. And, you know, next year we're planning on doing like a behind the scenes episode. If you're ever interested in starting a podcast, I feel like we have learned a lot.
And just passing on the blessing that we received from What the Trio.
Yes. Yeah. I think that that's the most important part, right? Is because knowledge is going to be shared. You know, we got free knowledge from them. And so why are we going to hold on to it and hold on to that knowledge when we could just definitely also be releasing it out there? So I think in a way it did help us therapy towards the end of the year. In that move to Japan, I think there was so much going on in our lives that I did need that hiatus though, because it was go, 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 go. And yeah, so there was just a lot of moving parts, but I think that it's been a great way for us to kind of like connect, because this 15-hour time difference is sometimes not in our best interest. You know, we do text every day, but it's different being able to like hop on a call and like talk and like catch up in that way too. So yeah, thinking back to our 1 year, we've now done 23 episodes.
Almost. How many weeks are there in a year?
52. Well, because we also did it.
52?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Oh, so had we done like all of the things, we should have been at 23?
26.
Okay, so math is not my immediate go-to forte. Yeah, okay. So yeah, we have, would be our 24th episode. Okay, not bad, like in the grand scheme of like the year.
Now
we
I'm
took
like
a little break.
How many weeks? Yes, there are 52 weeks in a year. Okay, I was like, am I crazy? Am I the one? Yeah, so, you know, not thinking about it, we really didn't take a hiatus. Like, we took a 1 month hiatus, but I felt like it was a lot longer than that.
In all fairness, it's because there are some months like December where there's 3 posts, like essentially we posted 3 times instead of 2. Because we didn't do like twice monthly, we did every other week. Yeah. Anyways, a logistical thing. What was your question? I don't even know why I did that.
I was confused. Yeah. So now we're coming up. This is episode 24. This month is episode 24. This one is about to air. So what was your favorite episode to date?
I think your birthday episode was my favorite because I literally just like listened to all of the absolutely ridiculous stories that you told about. I still like... And then it was great. I got to tell my family about how you made your mom miss the Macy's Day Parade the one time that y'all went. And, you know, I don't tell people about the time that you snorted powdered dish detergent, but I chuckle.
Keep bringing it up.
I chuckle every time I walk down the laundry aisle. So just know, you know, those stories stick with you.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good episode too. It was a really long episode. I remember that. But I thought that was such a cute episode, and you put so much into that one. You know, you had gone out, you like had reached out to all my friends and did all the things. So I appreciated that episode. I think one of my favorite episodes though is honestly like all of them are really good.
That's not true. Some of them are like, yeah.
Some of them were throwaway episodes. I will admit that. You know, we did throw some away, and that's okay. No, I think my favorite episode was our crossover with What the Trio.
What a nightmare to edit.
That was not a great episode to edit for Chris. That was also probably like the peak of that, like, F this whole thing, because That was 5 people that Chris had to edit. And then the audio was a little bit off. But I think in terms of like fun, I had the most fun creating that episode. You know, I was going to say my episode with Isaac was really fun. I did enjoy that one. And, you know, that's something that like people are always like, oh, that was like such a cute episode. But my favorite episode that we like were able to produce and like come up with was the What the Trio episode for sure.
I still have flashbacks of like, who's talking? Who do I need to mute? Why is everyone laughing? Why is the laughter so loud? Like, it just...
Yeah, so I think that might have also been my favorite episode because I didn't have to edit it.
You know, you just enjoy, like, in my head, even as we were recording, I'm just like, man, I'm gonna have to edit all this work. Like, it's gonna be work. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't regret it. It was really nice, but wait, have I had to edit all of our guest episodes?
Multi-people episodes? Yes, that has been you. No. I did edit the Isaac. Did I edit the Isaac one? No, you edited that one too.
I think I edited that one. I did the What the Trio one, and then I think I edited the one with Shemaine. Oh, I know I did that one.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That was one of our first like 3 people one, and you're like, I'll take this one. You just knew I wasn't going to be able to do it. So,
oh my gosh.
I think that like this episode, like this podcast has also helped me to like, you know, meet more people too. I got to meet Shemaine. I had met her very like in passing, but not really gotten to sit down with her and like discuss her goals like how we did. Ivy Grace, you still out there at Ivy Grace Boutique? I think there's a Black Friday. Oh no, that's gonna be gone by the time we start this. There's always like, but
there's always a sale though.
Yeah,
like there's always.
Shemaine always be out here with the sales. Like I be wearing my you know my cute little Ivy Grace stuff out here. So you know we out here. I do need to ask her if she does international shipping.
You know, you gotta check. She had some really nice winter items. Like
exactly, and it's cold. It is cold, y'all. I'm like in a hoodie. I look cold. Chris was like, "Wow, you look really cold." Because I am. Because this room that I'm in doesn't have air conditioning or heating. So, yeah. But yeah, I think that was my favorite episode. So I don't know. Have we already answered this question? What have you learned about being on a podcast?
I think so. I've learned that your boy will stress out about everything and anything.
If there's a thing to stress out about, it'll happen.
I will do it. I will find a way to stress out about it. And I am really learning how to let go. Let go and let God, because it can't be on me all the time. I internalize it a lot. And I'm not going to keep doing that. And in all aspects of my life. So I've appreciated learning that lesson of just being able to be better about being in every moment. Anything in addition?
This podcast has definitely helped me to be really intentional about my goal settings. I feel like a lot of things, and I don't want to sound like, you know, cocky or anything like that. Like a lot of things that I have done have been successful, you know, so it's like I've never had anything where I really felt like this is not going to be successful. So like knowing that we had to put in the work for it, and like our social media game, and like I was like, oh, like I know all about social media. Plot twist, don't know anything about social media, you know. It's just like one of those things where I've been building a following for a really long time, and I thought that would translate over to like having a podcast and like putting ourselves out there. So it's definitely been a humbling lesson on my end that like, just because we say it's going to happen. And like, I feel like Chris and I also have like that really good vibes and energy that we have been pretty successful in everything that we do. You know, the podcast definitely was like, oh, you thought.
You thought people just wanted to listen to you? Oh, you gonna have to be interesting. Like,
first of all, only you two like listening to each other. So I don't know why y'all thought that the whole world would like to listen to you too.
It's fine. We have an audience. We enjoy, you know, it's mutual. We enjoy each other.
We see y'all. Thank y'all for listening to us and sticking around for this whole time. Okay.
All 7 of y'all.
All 7 of you. And, you know, even if 5 out of the 7 of them are my siblings and parents, it is okay with me.
One of them's me.
And one of them is also me. So there's our 7.
No, I know she may be listening. Like, you know, we check in about the episodes. I love it though. Like, It's there. So we got 9 listeners.
But you know what? My mom be giving like savage feedback. There was one episode, I think it was the 100th episode. She was like, I was not interested in this at all. And she stopped listening midway through the episode. So, even your audience not be faithful.
She said no. I at least finish episodes like...
I think the thing that hurt the most was because she said, I was listening to the episode and it did not interest me, so I stopped. So I started listening to the What the Trio episode about Lula Rich. And she said, and then I went and watched the documentary. And I was like, you didn't want to go and watch the 100? She goes, no, not at all. So...
Oh no! We did not sell that show.
It'd be your own people. It'd be like that. Any new goals or dreams for this year for the podcast? Maybe not even this year, just like in general for the podcast.
I want to invite different people and more people to the show. Again, logistically, it is complicated, and now there is a time zone difference, and that's fine. And editing 3 people can be difficult and tedious, but it's just nice to have those conversations with other people as well and to learn about their things. And so I think in the upcoming year, I can think of at least one person that we'll have on. I'm very excited. I don't know if I should mention who it is.
Ooh,
no, it'll be a surprise. It'll be a surprise. It's going to be a surprise.
Am I going to be surprised too?
Maybe, maybe I won't tell you at all. I just show up, boom, post the questions immediately, in the moment, I just go for it.
Lady Gaga?
No, but we ain't there yet. We need at least 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We only have 1 subscriber on YouTube.
Is it me?
It's me. I'm the subscriber.
Even I'm not subscribed.
So, I think in the grand scheme of iteration, it would be that the podcast finds its true audience and we're able to automate or outsource some of the work and just have a bit more fun with it. That would be the goal or the dream. Because I do enjoy it. I enjoy having guests. It's a lot of fun. But again, that back end editing is just it's not fun. So I don't want to give up on the podcast. I want to keep doing it. And we'll figure it out. We'll just keep working it and it'll be okay. So that would be my long-term goal. Inviting people on and still having a great time and eventually being able to where it can pay for the back end itself.
And in the grand scheme, over 12 months, it's really not that expensive to do. It is a front end cost in the beginning, because we pay for a whole year. So that would be really nice to monetize this, that it'll pay for itself. In terms of goals, I would love to have more people on. My friend who does, Reads with Rosa, hers is entirely interview based. So she's found her audience, and so sometimes I look at her podcast and I'm kind of oh, one day we'll get to that level. One of my goals for sure is to be more active on social media and not be so passive on it, and being more intentional about the way that we're interacting with the audience. And, there are some times where I post and people are oh, promote your podcast on this one website, and I'll click on it and it's a whole bunch of different podcasts. So, there's avenues out there. I think it's just me trying to figure out our social media, and then making the time for it. Now I feel I do have a little bit more time in Japan. I'm not as stressed as I was in the States. So I feel that can be a pretty realistic goal right now, is figuring out our social media game. So that is what I'm hoping to take into the new year. Just being more engaging on our Instagram. I do want us to start a YouTube because I think that YouTube podcasts are so much fun. And I think that it could, offer itself to do a little bit more things. But then that would also mean that I would have to get ready and not look the way I do right now. So that's also real, but that's a long-term goal, I think, is to eventually one day get us on YouTube and doing it that way. But
multi-platformed,
but also that would be such a nightmare to edit too. So
to be clear, we're on YouTube right now, but it's just audio with our episode pictures, graphics on it. I don't know why it's there. It's on YouTube. I think it has all of one view.
Well, it'd be like that.
I think the biggest reason that I thought we were going to do it is because of captions, but I don't. Again, we have to get much better at YouTube. It's just, there are a lot of things that you're right. I just assumed that I knew about. being a child who grew up with the internet. And it's just like, it's fine. I'll just figure this out. It'll be okay. And I'm like, what is I don't know how to make any of this stuff work. I don't know how kids be doing this. This is so confusing. I don't get it.
It actually kind of makes me respect like influencers and content creators a lot more. Because it's not just, out there taking a picture and posting a thing. It's not just, all those things that everyone
existing.
It's work. Like, so when they say they got a 24-hour job, I believe them. Especially if they're the ones that are content creating on their own. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is a grind, especially if you're building from nothing. So let me tell you, the Tea with Krema was built from nothing. Emma and I are not social media influencers at all. Like, my social media presence is almost non-existent myself. So
yeah, so it is one of those things where we've been learning, and so really proud of us and the fact that we came to a year. It was looking a little shaky there for a second, that I was like, this is the first thing that we've maybe majorly did not do well in, and that's okay. What's next for the Tea with Krema, Chris?
Well, for right now, I think we're going to continue with our redesigned show format. So the unedited bi-weekly episodes, and then the more structured episodes that kind of like go in between that. And it lightens a little bit for the two of us. And B, I think it really will allow us to capitalize on this being a therapeutic experience. So even, our check-in episodes so far, I think have just been really helpful to just have like a general guiding topic and some bullet points, and just kind of be able to talk on them more authentically. So they aren't super prepared, super question driven. And a lot of times, I don't even think we've had a lot of times to think about our responses, as opposed to our more structured episodes that we have taken more time. We know what we want to talk about. There are questions that we're trying to answer specifically. I think we've gotten better at answering them more organically. Mm-hmm. And I think really taking those episodes and being able to apply them and invite other people more frequently on them, because we have a bit more time between those episodes to edit and figure out time zone differences and schedules. And so for the logistics side of it, I think really taking that show format and helping us to go to that next level. Ideally, potentially in this upcoming year, Emma and I might explore side series independent episodes with, whatever that might look like. Because again, Emma's out making whole new sets of friends out in Japan, and I'm trying my best to do something similar in Fort Worth. And I think it's helpful. It's a little different. It's a little space. We still have the Tea with Krema. We still have this shared platform, but giving a bit of artistic freedom in that regard. No set plans. I know you and I have discussed it a little bit, so that might be something that comes in the next year of podcasting for us.
Yeah, that was a really great answer. I really thought you were just gonna say like, ooh, season 2, here we come, let's go. So that was a really thoughtful answer. I'm really glad you said all of that. We're coming back for season 2, so that's what you have to look forward to. And with that, any last thoughts on us turning 1?
No, I think I've learned a lot more than I thought I would. Not necessarily about the things that I thought I would either. And I think that's okay. And I'm ready to continue learning. And maybe this has been more therapeutic than I thought. Who knows?
TLDR, happy 1 year anniversary, Tea with Krema. Look out for season 2. Yep. Okay.
So with that, we have our 24th set of
Rapid Fire Questions! Bum, 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 bum.
That sound will never be found. We've moved on, just to be clear.
It's done. It's over.
It's Emma's. Emma's going to make the sound.
I'm about to copy it.
So, my question today, in our theme of, desert islands and apocalypses and, I love it. I love that theme. I'm never going to...
This is our 3rd one.
Never going to get rid of those questions.
Actually, this might be our 4th one.
It probably is, honestly. So, the show Naked and Afraid.
I love that show.
Boom. So the question is, on Naked Afraid, the premise is you're dropped off in this island, but you're allowed to bring one item to help you survive. In this context, what would be your survival item?
The fire starter. I watched that show so much. Actually, wait, hold on. Oh, I'm trying to think now. Would it be a fire starter or a pot? Oh, wait, I have a partner. It's Naked and Afraid, so we have a partner.
But you don't get to tell them what they're gonna bring.
And then sometimes both people bring a pot. But what are you supposed to do with 2 pots, Or you have 2 fire starters. Great, now we can both start a fire.
Have there been episodes where they both bring the same thing?
Yeah.
And the producers don't, tell the person to bring, a backup item just in case?
No.
Oh, my God.
It's pretty realistic. But what I did learn after, because I do tend to get into these rabbit holes about these shows, is that I learned that, so when they arrive, so they don't know where they're going, right? Until they, get on the plane and then they arrive. So apparently they have, 3 days where they kind of go through a boot camp. And so that's why no one dies on the show, is because they tell them, this is the terrain. Please don't eat this. You can't eat this. They teach them how to forage and all those things. And then they also kind of tell them about being safe around big animals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, there are some episodes where animals get pretty close. But again, they're not going to have anyone dead on TV. That makes bad TV.
Or we just don't see those episodes.
Or they just don't get aired. I would bring a pot. Yeah. I would bring a pot. Because I'm thinking I could make a fire otherwise. I don't need to have a fire starter. But I had seen an episode where this woman brought a fire starter and had never used it before. So her partner was pissed because he was you said, you had a fire starter and you were going to do the fire and now it's nighttime and we're freezing and it's wet.
Oh, poor lady.
Anyway, so what would you bring?
I would bring a water purifying straw.
Good one.
Is that allowed?
Yep.
Because I feel that is, I don't watch as many episodes, but the premise of the show seems really funny. And it definitely seems a lot of people get sick from water contamination. And so that would be water. Because if I ain't got water, it's a wrap in 3 days. So
yeah, and they have had episodes where people make their own filters, but even then it's not. It was cool though because they had taken the ashes from their fire and then that was their charcoal. And charcoal is a natural purifier as well. Yeah. So I think my favorite part about Naked and Afraid is because they give each survivalist a final rating score.
And they almost always go down.
There was one that I had seen, and this man had gone on, and so based on his all his things, he was at a 9. But when he got in, had no mental capacity for the show, could not get over the smallest hurdles. And so it was it felt like most of the show was therapy because his partner was always you can do it. She was a mom, so she kept trying to encourage him. And so her score went up because she was she ended up taking on this nurturing caretaking role, but his I think he went from a 9 to a 6 because he couldn't get over these minor setbacks, was so stubborn and was this is terrible, blah, blah, blah. And I'm at the same time, this is self-inflicted. Anyway, I could have a whole entire episode on Naked and Afraid.
Honestly, because that was almost a 10-minute question, so
sorry.
Boom, and that's a wrap.
And that's it. Okay, sorry. I'll be really quick with my rapid fire question then. What is your favorite flavor of birthday cake?
Red velvet.
Good one. Mine is funfetti. What kind of frosting for yours?
Cream cheese.
I love funfetti. And it has to be the box funfetti too. I actually asked my mom if she could send me box funfetti in this next
Just that.
box. Okay.
Do they not have cake mix at the store?
I'm sure they do, but again, it's all in Japanese. I don't know what I'm buying half the time.
It's fine. Just the pictures.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Where can people find the podcast?
You can find our podcast on YouTube, wink wink, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find us on Twitter and Instagram at The Tea with Krema. If you'd like to buy us a cup of tea that doesn't taste like diluted hot chocolate, you can also find us on Venmo at The Tea with Krema. We hope to see you next time, and happy birthday, Tea with Krema. Bye!